She was our strength.
Es un sobreviviente.
She's a survivor.
I feel really blessed that I can be in 2021.
While I'm sitting there watching from outside the door how sad it is, to be there, I realize that there's beauty in it too.
Seeing the beauty in the midst of tragedy. The coronavirus pandemic touching Floridians in starkly different ways.
She just meant so much to us. She was just like our strength. She was just my example of what a woman really is.
Here in Apopka is where Shirlette McCullough's grandmother is laid to rest.
She was our secret holder.
Faris Tharp Holmes is one of more than 487,000 Americans who have died because of COVID-19. The feisty, fashion-forward matriarch of the family tested positive for COVID-19 on July 4th, 2020. She passed away 14 days later, surrounded by family at the age of 93.
That was really tough, really tough. The reality of there with her in that moment, and just releasing her.
This is just one story highlighting what so many families are going through. In Florida, 83% of all COVID-19 deaths are those 65 and older. 9,710 residents in long-term care facilities have died, many unable to have physical contact with family since the pandemic began.
We visit her at the window and different things like that, celebrated with her as early as July 4th was the last celebration we had with her at the window for Independence Day.
Shirlette remembers the last conversation with her grandmother on that same day, saying it was a good one, full of love and laughter.
Her thing that she would always say to me is, keep your hand in God's hand. Do not let God's hand go.
Faith is also a reason why Fanny Paz believes she and her now 8-month-old son Matthew are here today, both contracting COVID-19 in July.
Porque a un mes de nacido a él le dio esa
Her big concern is because he was premature, she doesn't know how that would impact him.
Matthew was just 1 month old when he tested positive for COVID-19, something not very common. Only 4% of all pediatric cases in Florida involve children under 1 year old.
How scared were you as a mother?
Wow, muchísimo.
She
Ayer
mentioned one
casualmente.
specific day where she went to the bathroom and she was on the floor, on the wall. She couldn't breathe and her baby was on the crib and she wondered would she even be able to get up to see her child again.
Míralo.
Fanny and Matthew no longer have COVID-19, but are now known as long haulers, people with lingering effects months after they've recovered. Recent studies show 10% of COVID-19 patients go on to become long haulers even if their symptoms were mild. For Fanny, that includes blurry vision and memory loss. For Matthew, a rash and allergies, and hair loss for both.
Y ayer estaba con su
The
dermatóloga,
dermatologist said, I've been following him this whole time and all I can say is he's a survivor because at 1 month old, he already had COVID.
At 67, John Kebler knows about survival, having recovered from 3 strokes. And he knows about strength, caring for his now late wife as she battled cancer 2 years ago.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Come on, B.
It's this mindset John has continued through this pandemic, isolating and focusing on the simple joys of daily life.
Can't keep her nose out of the stickers.
Like walking his furry companion of 16 years, Sandy.
Scallops.
And soaking up the Florida sunshine while reading grocery sales.
Honestly, it's a blessing when you think about it that I've been isolated. Maybe this is what has saved me from getting the big bye-bye, I love you.
John's now using his sense of humor and blunt take on life to get through another challenge, signing up for a COVID-19 vaccine.
This is a huge problem.
Vaccine distribution facing many hurdles in the first few months, supply not meeting demand.
I want to meet you when we say, hey, John, 0 to 25 age group is taking their shots and it's really working. That's why I want to be here to see.
It's a wish Lindsay Fairchild is working to fulfill each and every day for her patients. Patients of all races and backgrounds and beliefs, all gravely ill with COVID-19. As an ICU nurse, Lindsay knows how critical that care is for the patients and their loved ones.
Now every single patient is my dad. You know what I mean? Every single one is my dad laying in that bed.
Last year, Lindsay's father contracted COVID-19. She says she found out by text at work.
I'm taking care of a patient that just mirrored my father and what he was going through.
Doctors eventually put Lindsay's father on a ventilator, and she flew to Ohio to see him, hoping to be by his side one last time. Hospital protocol didn't allow that, so she stood outside her father's hospital room window.
In that moment of heartbreak and like the pain of just, to be 10 feet away from your dad as he's dying, it might as well have been 100 miles.
Lindsay sharing this moment of two nurses holding her father's hand during his final moments.
We're all going through this. It's hard for everybody. There's a unity to it too.
Unity is the word Lindsay chose as a wish for the future. For Charlotte, her word is healing. For Fanny, it's health and peace of mind for the world. And for John, it's understanding. A difference of perspectives, opinions, races, genders, backgrounds, all going through this pandemic together.